As you all know, one of my biggest interests is Pixar's Cars, but what you may not know is that another one of my biggest interests is NASCAR. I love collecting NASCAR diecasts that appeal to me, and I have them displayed next to my Pixar cars. Another thing I love doing is making custom cars. In my time, I've made many custom diecasts from Pixar's cars, but what happens when I combine those interests? Well, NASCAR custom cars. Here are 6 custom diecasts I made that were inspired by NASCAR. Today I'm going to show you how I made them all. First up, let's start with the car in black himself, Dale Earnhardt. Dale was made out of a used Claude Scruggs I bought at a flea market a while ago. He was first detached from his chassis. The metal body was sanded and painted black, as well as the wheels. From there, I used a custom decal sheet of his Goodwrench logos and some Piston Cup sponsors. Glued those all around him, as well as some custom eyes. And once those were all glued on, Dale Earnhardt was about done. He's pretty simple, and if you want to make any of these diecasts, I recommend you start with Dale. Moving on, we have Ross Chastain. This guy came as the result of an Instagram poll where he won by 4% over Kyle Busch. And if there was any paint job I was going to do, it's his iconic wall ride paint scheme. So the context for this guy, I was making a custom JP drive, and I'd used the eyepiece from a Paul Conrev in the body of a Cam spinner. So what that left me was the Paul Conrev body and his red wheels, but with Cam Spinner's black eyepiece. So I fit these together, and the color scheme actually worked pretty well for the BA Moose car. The body was primed white, sanded, and painted red. And as for the sponsor, the only sponsor with the colors in the Cars universe I could find was Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. This worked because Dale Earnhardt Jr. compared Ross Chastain to his father, and well, the color scheme just looks pretty cool. I replicated the modern DEI logo with this carified version, and then pasted those onto this next-gen template I found on Google to get the correct proportions for it all. Once the whole decal sheet was done, I printed those out and glued them onto Ross. And once those were on, Ross was about done. Next up, Kyle Busch. Now, the original next item here was a Jeff Gordon inspired Jeff Corvette, but that did not end well. Oh my god. While I was trying to bend the body a bit, the back end just snapped off, so this project was done. But I did have a spare Winford at the time from a 2-pack that I reviewed. And since Winford's body tooling reminded me of the late 2000s, 2010s NASCAR cars, I decided to pick one of the most iconic paint schemes from those cars, Kyle Busch's number 18 M&M's car. To make these match as close as I could, I sanded down his spoiler to match this real car, as well as sanded down his back end a little bit to be more proportional. And just in case you're wondering, this was before the new NASCAR metallic cars were revealed. But this still worked out perfectly fine, as none of the cars I did are even in that wave. The process for making his decals was the same as everyone else, but I wanted to make his logos carified, and the only other candy company I could find similar was Taco Mint. So I took some mints I found and arranged them in the exact same pattern as the M&Ms on Kyle Busch's car, sent those to a decal sheet, printed them out, and glued them on, and they looked amazing. For now, I kept Winford's original wheels, but I may change those out at some point, but Kyle Busch was now done. Next, we move on to my favorite custom in this video, Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick is my favorite NASCAR driver, and this photo is from his interview at Circuit of the Americas this year. My favorite Tyler Reddick scheme, and the one this custom is based on, is his Monster Energy car, which was also the car he won in at my first NASCAR race I went to. So to make him, I took a spare Noah Go-Check I had, gave him a light sanding, primed him in black, and then went to the computer to start on those decals. For his sponsor, I picked Nitrowade, as it kind of had that sort of flamey feel, the same as Monster Energy. But to recolor, I made it green. I tested both of the logos, and I did like the next gen one a bit more, so I went with that one. The decals for this one are definitely the most in-depth, as I had to make a bunch of the sort of lightning flame patterns all around him. But I am really glad at how this guy turned out once those decals were printed and glued on. And for his spoiler, I took a picture of his spoiler, sent it to Google Docs, and simply sketched a Nitrowade spoiler on top of it, printed it on, and stuck it on. This guy has to be my favorite in this whole video, as he just came out perfect in my opinion. And as a nice bonus, I didn't have to change his wheels. And for a simpler custom, we have a mid-2010s Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale was made out of an old Chinese Murray clutch burn I bought at a flea market. He was primed and spray painted red and given the wheels from a Reb Meeker. I took some decals and logos I found off Google, put them into Google Docs, printed them out, and glued them on. This is one of my earliest customs, but he is simple and sweet. Though not as flashy as some of my newer customs, he definitely completes the trio of DEI racers I have. And as a bonus, here's the Rookie the King based off of Richard Petty's first car. I made a short on how I made this guy, but in summary, he was 3D printed, spray painted blue, and same process, I took some custom decals, printed them out, and stuck them onto him. And with that, that is all of the NASCAR customs I have as of now. There'll definitely be more NASCAR customs coming sometime soon, but whoever wins the NASCAR championship this year, I will make a custom out of them. And if it is Tyler Reddick or Ross Chastain, well, nothing bad about two. And if you do want to make any of these customs for yourself, I have left the decal sheets that I have left in the description of this video. I don't think it's all of them, but it's all the ones I have currently. Now, I would like to wish a happy birthday to Richard Petty. And with that, I would like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.